Morning, Brilliance. So we've been thinking about algorithms and permissioned algorithms. Last night we had a long discussion, Will and I, about how the heart of what the new data economy needs to be about on a privacy level for individuals is they own their own data. Seems to be a pretty uncontested attitude with most people that you indeed do own your data, should own your data, could own your data is what we want to talk about. How do you get to owning your own data, and what is the real value of that? So I want to start from a very different position. So if data equates to knowledge, and it does, so if data actually adds value in terms of it gives us new information, and that can be defined as novelty or surprise, which is a great way of looking at that. And therefore knowledge is learning. So learning curves are very important, and effectively one of the great things that we can do for the future generations is to archive the current knowledge that we're getting now. And we're not that great at storing and keeping knowledge on a digital level. There's a high amount of decay. So that's a very interesting truth. We are collecting more than we ever have in terms of data, but are we preserving the learnings? So the highest way that we tend to preserve learnings from knowledge is archives, and that's an ancient way of looking at things, libraries. And there is another way of looking at it too, which is algorithms are knowledge, and they are learning and knowledge together. So the knowledge is the base, the learnings is what's derived out of it, and that's indeed what an algorithm is, because machine learning is accumulating feedback loops. So machine learning. So algorithms are knowledge and learning. Now, what does that actually look like? Well, algorithms end up coming together as rules of thumb, heuristics, and so on. Now, another way of looking at that through a language lens is that they're actually philosophies. And philosophy is a way of talking about high-level rules that we've found useful, or high-level patterns that we've seen are a good way of doing things. And they're told in tales, or they are told in little sayings that are very, very memorable, but we don't know how to prioritize different insights as sayings in a philosophical level. And that's one of the hardest things for us to do. Is maybe you read a lot of these books here, and you've got underlined insights inside them. How do you organize those? So we're in a brand new realm right now where algorithms have in fact established a standard of how you would accumulate rules, how you would accumulate insights, how you would accumulate learnings. What we actually have is the beginnings of a new philosophical civilization based on algorithms. So our data is getting turned into algorithms. Everybody understands that there's algorithms behind Facebook, behind Google. They're trying to build the AI. What is AI? It is not artificial intelligence, it's automated intelligence in reality, and algorithms are automated processes and feedback loops. So you get automated information and learnings going together. That's effectively what AI is. So if you thought of AI as automated data and automated systems and processes, you'd be right. Most people, when they imagine AI, are thinking about artificial consciousness. We're talking about artificial intelligence. That's a really different thing. So think of it as automation, and then you get into the situation where the algorithms are automated, but the data that they're getting is often grey. So it's a bit of a legacy of where we've come from the internet, that a lot of the profile data is purchased, and a lot of the data that, say, Facebook or Google have got was bought in data markets from data brokers, and most people don't know about that economy, but it's very real and it's there. So In a simplistic sense, a lot of the data that's going into the algorithms is grey, or it's unpermissioned, so it's black. You did not give permission for your data to go into these algorithms. Now, we are being surveilled when we walk around inside cities, especially in shopping centres. They're looking at our body language, and we're on camera. Hundreds, if not thousands of cameras throughout our cities. And we are being mapped and tracked, and facial recognition is a non-real thing, and Facebook is incredibly brilliant at it, Google's good at it, but there's a lot more of those facial recognition algorithms out there. Here's the key. If there is bad data or outdated data going into the algorithms, those algorithms will have a false picture of you. They will have a wrong or outdated understanding of you. If they are looking at your data from 10 years ago or 5 years ago, not your data today, you might have changed a lot of your behaviours. You will have upgraded yourself, and you'll be in a different circumstance than you were 5 years ago, probably a more advanced circumstance. So another way of looking at this is they will have old and wrong pictures of you put inside these algorithms. Those algorithms are informing credit scores, ratings around whether or not you can get loans, ratings of whether or not you can get a mortgage. They're profiling you around a whole bunch of personality attributes as well, which might be completely incorrect. So what's going to be important in the future is having permissioned algorithms. What does that mean? It means that you have permissioned your data because you have your own live profile that you control, and it will tend to be on your phone, but you will run the latest information about you, your latest email, phone number, address, and income, those sorts of things that are very important to you in terms of how people profile you. You will be the one who runs the central profile system, and what you say about yourself will be validated by third parties. However, you will know that you have the most updated information, and they will take a permissioned version of what you have in your profile. So that is the permission piece. Now, you permission your data, and then your data, you give permission data to the algorithms, and therefore they become permissioned algorithms. Unpermissioned algorithms will become very, very problematic for us long term, because the algorithms have the wrong picture about who we are and what we believe and what we think is important to us. So that gets us to that level. So a permissioned algorithm gets us to the level of where we need to start thinking about how we're being behaviourally profiled, and do we agree with the view of us? Now that then reverses the responsibility back to us, because we're running our live profile. So then we get into a situation where we want to learn about who we really are from our own permissioned algorithms. So that's the real game. Now, that's a lot of ideas put together, but in essence, in a very simple way, you would have your own AIs, many of them, to help you understand who you really are and how you're sharing the pictures of who you really are with other algorithms. Now, that will look like us talking to our phone, us talking to our algorithms. We will have digital assistants that we're talking to. But actually what you're doing is you are building algorithms about yourself, and then you can share those super permissioned algorithms to other algorithms so they can get a better view of you. And the reason why a true picture of you is important, well, first of all, self-knowledge. That gives you a real insight in your own progress, and you should be benchmarking yourself against your historical who you were and who you are now to who you want to be in the future. And that is really the true comparison that you want to be having. Most comparisons right now inside our online lives are to others on Instagram, or TikTok videos or the Twitter fights that go on. And being anonymous and not having a profile or a permissioned algorithm of who you really are and what you really stand for really reduces the quality of those exchanges. And we're in a bit of a bubble around that. That's not necessarily who people truly are. So there seems to be like an opportunity to create new kinds of social media spaces where people are actually sharing who they really are based on their permissioned algorithms that cannot be faked, that cannot be gamed, and nor would you want to be. Excuse me. So there will be an opportunity for realms of authenticity that we're not used to. So we're going to have to ask a lot more of ourselves in terms of self-knowledge, and I think it's an incredible opportunity for us to up the game in terms of the quality of our conversation with each other, because the quality of the conversation with ourselves will be much more demanding, and it will be philosophical. So we're entering an age where philosophy becomes practical again, because algorithms are philosophy, and therefore we have entered a true golden age of digital philosophy based on algorithms. That is a very strange thing to pop out of, say, blockchain or AI. But blockchain is the accounting for the AI, so that's how we keep all the numbers straight and how we make sure the data is true and verified. So that's the main importance of blockchain, is to actually help provenance of data, which is knowing where it came from, so that you know that it's coming from a source that then can be checked, which is verification, and then you can have trusted sources of truth coming into your algorithms. Now, that's a lot to put together. We'll try to boil that down into some nice diagrams and a very simple overview in future. But this was just me on a long unpack of maybe 9 months worth of conversations that we've had here at Intraverse, and I just wanted to get that on tape, that we have entered a brand new opportunity for discourse, a brand new opportunity for philosophy, but it'll be grounded in real data and real numbers. So it's a very interesting and new opportunity for humanity.